at the South Carolina AgriBiz and Farm Expo. It's 2015. This is the third year of the Expo, and today we have Dr. Stephen Cole, and he is the Director of Regulatory Services. He's also head of the Department of Plant Industry. Dr. Cole, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Now, let's start first with Department of Plant Industry.
Okay.
What happens there?
Well, the Department of Plant Industry is our plant regulatory program that deals with the protection of our forests and farms from invasive plant pests such as insect pests, diseases, things of that nature. We also have consumer protection programs that deal with the testing of fertilizer and ag inputs related to fertilizer such as soil amendments and things of that nature. So we're involved with making sure that growers get what they need and also protecting their plants, which is a pretty big business in South Carolina.
And what does that mean in terms of feet on the ground out in the communities?
Yeah, we have inspectors all across the state that deal with fertilizer regulations, seed certification programs, which is another component that we are involved with, and our nursery inspections and our invasive species programs. And we have a total of about 15 inspectors across the state that every day get up and work with nursery owners, farmers, other regulated community folks that deal with plant industry related issues, and we try to help make sure that they have the most healthy, competitive crops out there and plants that they can use to enhance their business efforts and enhance the overall health of our forest ecosystems and everywhere really plants grow.
Well, we like to think of South Carolina as an export state.
Absolutely.
Which at the same time, it makes me wonder in terms of Clemson's role and the regulatory role for crops or seeds or things like that might come in. Does that happen?
That does, and we do play an important role with import and export of plants. There are certain states and countries that have plant pests that we don't have in South Carolina, and we want to keep it that way. So we work with other states, we work with the U.S. Department of Agriculture in making sure that the plants that are shipped into our state are pest-free and disease-free from some of those invasive pests and diseases that we don't want to see. Unfortunately, in South Carolina, we have some pests here that are established that other states don't have, such as the imported fire ant. That is one of the pests that we deal with as far as trying to work with other states to make sure that when plants leave our state that they're fire ant free. So we do inspections and approve those kinds of shipments as well. Certain countries want to stay free from pests, and we do, on behalf of USDA, issue phytosanitary certificates for shipments out of the country so that those countries can rest assured and know that we're not sending pests their way as well.
Well, does that mean, though, that regulatory services is the arm of USDA in terms of the
In many ways, yes. We have an agreement with USDA, and we act on their behalf on federal issues when warranted. USDA is just like any other agency. They have limitations on boots on the ground, as you said earlier, as far as being able to be everywhere at one time. So they cooperate with us, and on their behalf we provide additional support when needed, whenever there's an issue that needs to be addressed and they can't get there in a timely manner or their resources are tied up some other place. One good example is our peach export program in South Carolina, which is a very good program,
right,
where we work with the Mexican government to ship peaches from South Carolina to Mexico. USDA has a role in that. We also play a very vital role in helping make sure that those peaches meet the standards that the Mexican government wants them to meet. So we enhance a lot of what USDA does, and hopefully we help keep the wheels moving in South Carolina so our industries can do what they need to do, ship their products.
And that is fabulous to hear that we are exporting, particularly in the agricultural industry.
Yes.
So, one of the things I was curious about is your connection with the students at Clemson. Are you involved with the students.
We are involved with students, and it's really a good relationship that we have with the College of Agriculture, Forestry, and Life Sciences. There's a regulatory plant course that's taught every other year that we're a part of, and it's actually being taught this semester at Clemson. And it's a program that helps students understand plant regulations, pesticide regulations, fertilizer, seed, all the things that deal with plant industry as far as nursery inspections and shipping plants internationally and to other states. And in addition to that, we also are involved with the university's internship program for students. We've had about 3 students go through the formal internship program at Clemson. They get a chance to kind of get a feel for all the different areas of our regulatory programs and decide if that might be something that they would like to pursue as a career, or if not, that's a learning experience as well.
Sure, yeah,
for them.
it's very important to know.
And it's good for us to do that because we're enhancing the efforts of the college and trying to help make sure our students are well prepared and that they are competitive when they go out into the marketplace to look for a job.
And in terms of your connections with others in addition to USDA, are there connections with industries that may be looking at new plant material or seeds or things such as that they come to Clemson to find out if this might pass muster in terms of the regulations?
We do work, I mentioned our seed certification program. We work closely with industry there. And what seed certification and turfgrass certification is a program where we can provide a service to industries that are developing new technologies in seed varieties or turf varieties that are not found in current varieties, and it differentiates them from other varieties. And our certification program gives them validation for that uniqueness in their varieties and allows them to market those varieties in a manner that they couldn't without us. They can make those claims that it's certified seed or certified turfgrass through Clemson University. And that means a lot to folks that when they're looking for certain characteristics in their seed or the performance traits, things like that, that they may not get in other seed varieties or turf varieties. So we try to enhance those programs with our regulatory efforts.
I see, right. And you came to Clemson from where?
Well, I'm originally from East Tennessee, but I came to Clemson from the Georgia Department of Agriculture. I spent 11 years there in their pesticide regulatory program as a program manager. So had a lot of years of experience with regulatory and also worked in extension as well. So I kind of see the public service side of what we do, and really think that we work well together in trying to enhance what we can provide South Carolina. Our motto at Clemson is regulation through education for the regulatory program.
Say that one more time.
Regulation through education.
Wonderful.
And we use the extension arm to help the regulated community, homeowners, business folks, whoever, understand what they need to do to stay in compliance with our regulations, and oftentimes that helps them be more productive business owners and have a stronger industry as well. So we rely really heavily upon extension and the efforts that they have as far as outreach and education.
And
it's important.
As we've seen growth in more niche markets and smaller farms, and I want to say, I'm not sure that's the right word, for gentlemen or lady farmers that are doing microgreens or something that's somewhat unique. Is there a role for your work in these new markets that are coming on board?
Absolutely. The thing that seems to be the hot topic nowadays in agriculture in South Carolina is local grown, farm fresh, farm to table type commodities. And we do play a role at Clemson Regulatory Services with our organic certification program. That seems to be a hot topic as well with consumers, is organic grown products. And we have an organic certification program that is administered through USDA. We're a certified certifier for that program. And what we do is we provide any farm or livestock operation or processor of organic products with that certification program. We verify that they are within the regulations USDA sets forth. We test their product to make sure that it meets the standards, and they're able to market their product as USDA organic grown. So any specialty crops or small farms that are looking to take their local grown product to the organic market, that's the mechanism that they need to use, is the Clemson organic certification program.
Well, and for the consumer, that is a valuable piece of information.
Absolutely.
Because we have no idea what to look for,
Right.
and it can have the right color on it and have the nice leaf or whatever, but there are specific things. Are there other things like that the consumer should be on the lookout for?
There are a number of things, kind of shifting gears away from organic, just our consumer protection programs. I mentioned our fertilizer testing program, where we go out for growers and we actually test the fertilizer that they've purchased to make sure it is what the producer says it is, so that they can get maximum yields and get the most benefit from that input. For homeowners, we also do termiticide treatment inspections to make sure that the termiticides that they're paying for, the companies are doing what they said they would do and providing the adequate coverage of whatever chemical they're using to protect their home, which is, as you know, probably the biggest investment that most folks make.
Yes, yes. Well, that's very helpful information, and it's interesting to know that all of this is going on, right? Well, I say in my backyard, but it's actually across the state.
Yes,
So.
And I was actually looking at our numbers from last year. We actually did over 500 home inspections in South Carolina to check for termiticide treatments to make sure that companies are providing adequate treatments for homeowners. And we have a very good compliance rate in South Carolina. About 85% of the homes that were tested were in compliance. The ones that were not, those companies are asked to come back and make sure that they complete those treatments properly. So
very good.
We feel like that our industry understands the rules. We're firm but fair with the industry folks that we regulate. They know that it's better for them to comply with the regulations. It helps everyone. And most of the folks that are bad actors, we find out who they are fairly quickly with this process, and we're able to use our regulatory authority to correct those problems and keep the homeowners safe,
Right,
so they don't have to worry about it.
Well, it's safe, but it's also to keep us solvent in many cases, and
Yes.
in terms of ensuring that we're getting what we're paying for.
Absolutely.
But,
Absolutely.
and that really, that reminds me of another item, is that really has come to light a bit more frequently in recent years with imports of, and it doesn't necessarily have to be imports, but imports on foods and not only for humans but for animals, and as you say, with the invasives.
Yes.
It's a very important position, and we don't hear enough about it, I think.
Well,
so
we kind of treat ourselves like the referee of a good basketball game. Hopefully
Right.
you don't notice we're there.
That's right. Well, maybe that's a good thing. At least we know you're doing your job there.
Absolutely.
And it does make us feel a lot more safe and smart about purchases that
Yes.
we make. But I want to thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Well, I'll try to get you back for an update sometime.
Sounds great.
I've been speaking with Dr. Stephen Cole. He is Director of Regulatory Services, and he's also the head of the Department of Plant Industry.